Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. Woo! Man, this book. I'm a bit of a slow reader despite being an English teacher, but this book, man, I tell you, I read this thing in about 2 days. It is so good. This book follows a Muslim teenage girl by the name of Shireen in a post 9/11 world, and the things that she has to deal with for choosing to wear a hijab and for looking the way that she does in the world that she lives in is just heartbreaking. What I find to be very interesting about this book is that the author, Mafi, has written other YA books, but they were very fantasy based. This one is more contemporary, and a lot of it is based on her own experience. What really drew me to this book, if you know anything about me, is that I love to dance. I'm actually a dance teacher. But the character in this book takes up breaking, and they go into great detail to describe how she learns to dance and how they go to these underground clubs to view dancing and how they compete and perform. One of my favorite parts of the book actually comes from the scene where Shireen and her brother are watching the movie Break It with Turbo, and he's doing this dance in front of the store, and it's just mind-blowing that there was an author out there who was so skilled at writing that they were able to capture the feeling that people have when they watch that scene. Like for me, that's one of the things that made me want to get serious about dancing. So to see that in a book was phenomenal. Now, I'm not Muslim, but to have the last name Ahamad, to also see a character dealing with the situations post 9/11. I didn't have it as bad as she did, where she was bullied and people really came after her in a way that her and her family had to end up moving from town to town. But I got pressed a couple of times, and I saw what it was like for people growing up in New York City after the events who identified as Muslim, and it was really bad. Those kind of generalizations are terrible, and I'm glad that there's an author who was willing to bring that stuff up and to put it in a book that younger people, younger audiences could observe. As a teacher, what's crazy is that my students who are now 15 and 16 years old weren't even born during that time. They have no recollection of 9/11 on a personal level because they didn't live it. So this story does a lot because it brings to light a time where the country was torn and it needed to be mended, but there was a lot of anger. What I love so much about this book is that the character who is based off of Mafi is such a strong, creative, independent, and intimidating individual. Maybe intimidating isn't the best trait to have, but it adds so much to her character and how the world around her perceives her. She carries this burden with her that she has to learn to let go because of the hatred that she was receiving. So it really is a message of love. I would highly recommend this book for anyone who is looking for something about 9/11, for anyone who's looking for a Muslim character, a female character, anyone who's interested in dance, anyone who likes high school stories or romance. This book has it all. It's well written, it's very descriptive. You feel exactly what these characters are feeling. The frustrations that I've had while reading this book while Shireen was being bullied were all too real. That's how great this writing is. I thank Mafi for writing this, and I hope that it gets into as many hands as possible, as it is a great, great story.